Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to our third mentorship session. I hope that you've been well. I hope that last week's session was very helpful. Thank you for your feedback. I truly appreciate it. I go through it all and I consume it, and it is wonderful to know that my work is being recognized and appreciated. So I appreciate that. Let me just wait for you guys to log in or to join, as the people say. All right, I'll just give you a couple of minutes to join. Morning. Okay. I have my everything ready, so let's wait up and see who's joining. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm just gonna give you a few minutes to join in. Give some people a few minutes to join in, and then we'll just get going. I'm fired up today again. So hit me up with a wave, a cool, a whatever. Good morning, Taizo. Yeah, so I'm quite excited about today's topic, and I'm just gonna let the people come through because I don't want to leave anyone out as I start. The meal today is quite simple, so that I can spend more time talking. But I think it's an easy meal, but it's a wonderful meal. Quite a favorite in my house. So yeah, I appreciate your feedback from last week's session. Sawubona Dimakato, morning Mutabi. Yeah, it's a I do spend a lot of time on these sessions preparing for them. Sometimes it's just preparing mentally, but I actually sit and I spend time a good 2 hours just preparing for the sessions, and I enjoy that because as I prepare for the sessions, I'm also sharpening myself. So thank you for that gift because I appreciate it. Um, yes. Tyler says, saw the notes, can't wait for today. I'm almost done cooking and ready with my notebook. Yes, girl. Love it. Nontogozo, good morning. Virtual hug, thank you. Thank you so much. And Sasa, morning, Amanda. Morning. So yes, thank you. I appreciate your feedback from last week about last week's session. So today I'm going to talk about self-esteem because I think self-esteem is a significant and critical ingredient towards being able to deal with adversity. I really believe it is one of those things that you need to be able to tackle the challenges in your life. So we'll talk a bit more about what it is and what the impact of low self-esteem is and how we can improve our self-esteem, because I think a lot of people like to think that they have a low self-esteem, therefore they sit there, that's it, they're doomed. No, and it has nothing to do with personality. It's as you'll see, we'll uncover quite a lot about what it is, how it comes about, and how we can improve ourselves and how we can improve our self-esteem. So today I'm going to morning, guys. Morning, my ladies. Precious, Dineo, Charlotte. Morning, welcome. I also welcome a very special welcome to my members. I have to remember to welcome you especially. Like your welcome has got a source edit. And if you want to be a member of the channel, it's easy. You can just join as a member directly on the channel. And there are benefits to being a member. I mean, I recently sent my members a copy of my signed book, Therefore I Rose. So there's benefits to it. I think you get way more than what you pay. Like, what kind of membership is this that's so cheap? All right, guys, let's get going. So thank you very much. Welcome. So today I'm making salmon. This is Norwegian salmon. So I'm making a Thai-inspired dish today. And I think Thai meals are quite easy to cook. You can cook them during the week. You can make them anyhow. So I'm making a salmon-inspired Thai. I'm making a Thai-inspired meal using Norwegian salmon. But because my husband tends to, when we have seafood for lunch, he gets hungry like 2 hours later. So I'm also going to make some prawns later. So I've got some fresh prawns that I'm going to make for later. So literally, there's going to be 2 meals today. And I'm going to serve it with Thai-inspired fried rice. So salmon, it will be in coconut milk, and it will be served with Thai-inspired fried rice. So thank you so much. Let's get going. So I'm just going to season the salmon. If you just give me a moment while I heat up my pan. So I pan fry this meal, and it's so easy to make, and it's really quick. So the rice has already been boiling. So I'll soon be able to start making the fried rice, and a touch of salt, not too much salt, just a bit of salt for seasoning. And I don't do much to the salmon because, you know, the one thing you also don't want is to take away the natural elements of the of the of the salmon. And no, sorry about it, typo. I am very much here. I didn't see it, so that's okay. All right, so I've seasoned a bit with some black pepper and hey babe, and some salt. So some olive oil. My family loves salmon crispy on the outside and cooked in the middle. So a lot of people who like salmon, who think they are salmon experts, will tell you, "Oh my gosh, you shouldn't overcook it." But it's your money. You do what you want. This one is ours. We do what we want. We overcook the salmon. That's how my family likes it, nice and crispy. We overcook it, but not dead. You know, you still have some life in it. Um, but yeah, that's how we have it. Ultimately, you must just have your food your way. Um, and you'll see, well, this is so easy to make. Salmon is literally the quickest thing you can cook. Those who don't like it overdone, literally in 2 minutes per side, 3 minutes per side, depending on you know how you prefer it. I don't eat sushi, so anything I eat must be cooked. People have tried. Rebecca says, "Sis Amanda, you need assistance in the kitchen just to hold the phone so that we can see everything whilst you talk and cook." No, I don't. I don't really need it. So this is not a cooking show. I'll keep showing you what I'm doing. So I've already pretty much showed you what I'm doing, and now I need to move my laptop a bit. I don't need assistant. Imagine my kids standing here with a phone for 2 hours. No, the aim of the session is I'll keep showing you what I'm doing, but it's for you to maybe just when you watch it back again to see what I've done and try something new. So my rice is coming along nicely. So I'm just gonna literally put these in the hot pan, and you can hear that. So the pan is quite nice and hot. And we put them skin down. So the skin should be hitting the pan, the heat of the pan. And the skin has got to be crispy, you know, that's just how you get that nice flavors out of the fish, out of the salmon. Okay. So I'll show you what that looks like shortly. In the meanwhile, I'm going to show you the sauce that I'm going to make. That's probably going to be quite loud, but so this is coconut milk that I'm using. For this sauce, I'll add some coconut milk, so I use the whole can. So coconut milk. Show you what I'm doing. Okay, so And then you can use oregano or tarragon. So I'm using French tarragon because I think I've run out of oregano. And I put quite a bit, so I don't really mind that. And then some lemon juice. Okay. And then some zest of lime. So this is a lime, and you just zest. So, oops. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, and then you just zest it. So we want the full zest of the lemon, of the lime. Gosh, there's not. I live with lime and lemons. Water every day. I think the one thing I buy the most in this house is lemon and limes. As a result, we're never really sick. But it's strange to say things like we're never sick during the times of COVID because just now you get sick. All right, so I'll just show you a bit what that looks like now. Okay, there we go. Right, and then I'm going to take a little cornstarch. All right, so a little cornstarch. I'll just use like half a tablespoon. Actually, you can even add more. Depends on how you want to. Don't make it too thick. Otherwise, you'll be eating porridge. All right, so that's what I've got now. Then I just whisk that. Okay, whisk that so that the cornstarch mixes up with the coconut milk. All right. Okay, there we go. So what I'm then going to do, and there we go. So I'm going to take the same lime that I just used, and you can add more. You can add more. You can use 2 limes if you want, depending on how much acidity you want from. Oh my Lord, things are a bit untidy today. It's depending how much acidity you're looking for. So what I'll do is just that lime. This is a lime. So the one I just zested. So I just take some of that lime juice and add there. I'll use the whole lime. So, okay, all good. All right, let's try and get you to see this. There we go. Okay, so got some good zest going there. All right, so the fish is also now looking really good. So I'm gonna keep this just on the side till I finish the fish. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, there we go. You can see what that now looks like. But check the skin. That's looking really good. So I'm just gonna turn that around. Okay. That looks amazing. All right, almost there. So I'll cook this now for another, say, 4 minutes or so, or 5, to make it still crispy. And then we'll get on with the sauce. The rice is coming along, so I'm going to be done with this very quickly, and then I'll sit down and then we can talk about what we're going to talk about today. Where did I get the salmon? From Woolies. But I don't like to mention them because it's not like they pay me or anything. But I mean, if you are in and around Sandton, Hyde Park, or Dunkeld has a nice fishmonger there as well. So we also buy some of our fish and salmon there. So I'm just gonna run some water over the rice. Today I'm using parboiled rice because I'm tired of basmati. I'm tired of jasmine rice. I just miss good old rice. so this is now nicely cooked. So I'm just gonna give it a good rinse, and I'll I'll let it stand, and then I'll start with the prep for the fried rice. And I think that's quite exciting for me. So okay. Don't worry, you're not getting left out, just rinsing the rice. The salmon is looking good, so I'm good with that. So we're gonna start then with the prep for fried rice. Whilst I wait for the salmon to finish cooking. And I'll tell you what I'm gonna use for the fried rice is some normal onions, and we're gonna make them chunky, and then spring onions, also make them chunky. But then I'm gonna add some baby leeks to mine. I actually think I have an obsession with leeks. I love leeks. And then we're gonna add some peppers as well, because that's the trick to Asian inspired meals, particularly Thai, is a lot of vegetables in the meal. So be it noodles or whatever you're making, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Okay, so I think I'm getting close to just yanking my salmon out. I'll show it to you now in a moment. But it's looking really, really, really good. Okay. I'll show you in a moment. Okay, that's looking really good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, you have a couple of options to this, how you're going to serve it. So you can put the salmon aside and then make the sauce, or you pour the sauce over the salmon. So I like to pour the sauce over the salmon. But what I'm going to do first is get some garlic in there, some good chunk of garlic. And then I'm just going to let that cook for a while. So I'm just going to put that back onto the stove. Okay. Whilst I do that, let's get our prep for the rice. So as you can see, it's just nice chunky pieces of onions, and I'll show you now. Okay. So literally, I'm just gonna hit that. Okay. Just nice and chunky, not too fine. Okay. Just gonna put some oil there. So I'll add some of the leeks. So I'm just gonna rinse some baby leeks. Okay. Rinse those. Right. Even they're just nice and chunky. Okay. Nice and really chunky. Okay. I'm good with this. Okay. Then we add some spring onion. So almost there, almost there. Show you now. But with spring onion, I just like to use a lot. Let me rinse that. Okay. So this is some spring onion. Even here, just some nice chunky pieces. Nice. This is what the salmon is now looking like. So we're gonna pour our sauce there. But in the meanwhile, we get some fried rice going. So some olive oil. Then we add that to the hot pan. Okay. See, what I said last week, there are many ways to make our favorite Sunday meals. So I'm just gonna let that cook. Rice doesn't have to be good old plain rice all the time. So if you are looking for some different options, this is a great option. All right, so if you see now on this is looking good. And now I'm gonna add our sauce. Okay. This is already smelling and looking really good. Really, really good. So I'll let that boil or cook for a while. And literally, this is the meal for today. I will obviously make some vegetables as well on the side, some green vegetables. You know me and green vegetables. Me and green vegetables. Well, can't do without those. So I'm also just gonna chop up some peppers. So let me see what you're all saying. Hello, hello. I'll chop up some peppers and add to the rice. So just as the other stuff is getting going, I'll just quickly throw the peppers in there. And with this, you don't need symmetry, just good old chunky vegetables thrown in. Okay. So how are you guys doing? Tell me how you're doing before we get going with our topic for today. I am really good. Any cookbook in the pipeline? It's probably one of those things I now get asked quite a lot, but I don't really have plans for a cookbook. But I never have plans for the books I release. They just come to me. I say God speaks to me and I listen. So I don't know. I love to cook. I just don't like the concept of being administrative about it. Like, you won't hear me telling you put this much measurement, because I don't cook by measurement. I just cook by heart. So it would be an interesting cookbook where there's no measurements. I guess I'd have to pay real attention, or have someone watch me cook and then they can figure out the measurements. Yeah. It's like when someone says to me, "Oh, Amanda, can I please have a recipe?" I'm like, what? I'm not good at doing recipes. So yeah, no, I'm that kind of cook. All right, so I'll show you what I'm doing now. It's just chunking up some peppers. And again, all of those people who are all about 7 colors or 8, I don't know, just some peppers. And this we're adding to the fried rice. So we still just, and our salmon is looking good. And even with the fried rice, so don't overcook the vegetables. So when you're frying the onions, the spring onion, the leeks, and the peppers, you still want a bit of crunch in the meal. So that crunch against the rice that's already cooked is really so yummy. So let's let that fry a bit more. I'm gonna leave my salmon now to also just do its thing. The sauce is coming along nicely. Okay. So yeah, I'll show you now. Oh, that's good. That's so good. And if you want this to be a little more curried, which is what I think I'm gonna do with it today, I'm gonna add some curry. So I've got I want some mild curry. So just give me a moment. That's so good actually. Medium curry. And then what I'll do, I also use some vegetable stock. So I'll show you now. So I'll add this. Okay, here we go. So I've got some medium curry. Then I'll just, excuse me guys. There's one that's open, so let me use that one. So typically what's best is to put this, let's put a chunk, okay? Is to when you're adding the garlic, is to add the curry. Then you can also just burn it through a bit. And then I'll just do a scoop of, this is vegetable stock. So vegetable stock. Then just a tiny bit of water to that. Okay. So it's looking good. Okay. Then we'll add that. Give us that nice curried flavor. Cool. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Let's get you out of here. So you see, that's looking really good. And we don't kill the salmon pieces, we just leave them as they are. And then what we'll do here is just give it a taste. Oh, that's really good. That's really, really good. Okay, almost there. So with the salmon, I'm pretty much done. So I'm just gonna add, and you must taste your food as you go and see what seasoning you need more of. Crystal, you're late for hanging laundry. It's my pleasure, Mandisa. Mandisa says, you remind me so much of my mom. Thank you for giving so much of yourself to us and putting perspective to some of our lives. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like now. And before I serve this, I'm gonna just throw some fresh herbs on it. So that you get that nice, oh, this is looking nice. That nice fragrance from the meal with fresh herbs. So let me show you now. There we go. Okay, you can see that that's the salmon sauce done. Okay, and if you like, if you okay, I think you were right. I need help. If you like spicy things, you can add chilies to it. So I'll add the chilies when we serve it because the kids don't obviously take chilies, but my husband does. So we'll do that. I'm almost done now with my meal actually. So I'll just show you I'll show you what I've done with the vegetables now. Okay. So I wanted that bit of char, but still crunchy. So I fried them on high heat. So you can see they've got a nice little char. So what I'm now going to do is add some rice. Just a moment. Okay. So I'm going to add some rice. Sorry, my drip tray here is still broken. we go. Okay. Fragrance. Just mix that up nicely. Okay. All right. Ouch. It gets messy in the kitchen. All right, so here we go. You can see it's starting to take shape. So I'm gonna put this back on the hot stove and let the rice fry a bit more. And then I'm gonna add, I'll show you when you add the egg, once the rice has had a chance to just fry, we open a hole here. And then we'll pour the egg in there. But I mix the egg before I pour it in. You don't have to because it will mix anyway. But yeah, that's where we are. And I'm gonna obviously season that. Okay. So let me get going then with our conversation. Let me just tip here. Okay, just tidying up now so that we can have a great conversation. And herbs, guys, you must use herbs when you cook. It's just that I can't understand people who don't use herbs. They're healthy. They're really good. And I don't have rules around cooking. I don't have things like this doesn't go with that. So I just cook whatever. And then I figure it out, oh, is it nice or not? Not okay, we try something else. But yeah, so this is looking so good. I have to show you the salmon one more time. Check it out. How good is that? Hey? That looks so good. That's gonna be so yummy. Okay. Let me get a bit nearer. All right, so as per as promised, so that's pretty much my meal done, by the way. So the only thing now, I'm just gonna let the rice fry more, and then I'll probably add 3 eggs to it, and then season black pepper and salt, and that's it. And that's my Sunday meal done, the first meal, because there's still another one coming. Yeah, I do have a herb garden, and I grow different herbs: rosemary, thyme, oregano, mint, spring onion, chives. I just bought a spring onion today because we're still growing it. So we harvested, and then we're waiting for it to grow. I did harvest some recently, but now I'm just letting it grow. So yeah. Whew. Okay, getting going. All right. So self-esteem. I think first of all, this is probably one of the epidemics in the world. Lack of self-esteem or low self-esteem. It's such a real issue. Such a significant issue that I get to deal with a lot with people. And the questions that people have, even the fear or just being unsure about themselves is real. And a lot of people suffer from this. So I thought that it was a good topic to tackle today at the back of having spoken about adversity last week. Sorry, one moment. I'm just. I just want to turn the rice up because it's now fried nicely. Okay. In fact, what I'll do, I'll just turn that off for now. So yeah, at the back of the conversation we had last week, I thought it might be worth, talking about this, which is something that a lot of people suffer from. So, what is self-esteem? And I think let's start there because it's often confused with other words that are contributing to self-esteem, things like self-confidence, self-assurance, and etc. But let's just zone in on what self-esteem is. So self-esteem is what we think, feel, and believe about ourselves. So it is what we think, feel and believe about ourselves. Simply put, it's your opinion of yourself. So what is your opinion of yourself? And it is about how you feel about your qualities and your characteristics. It is how you feel about your characteristics and your qualities. And I mean, social psychologists study or have studied self-esteem for years. And many scholars say that it is an overall evaluation of one's worth and value. So it is an overall evaluation of one's worth and value. It is a positive or negative orientation towards oneself. It is a positive or negative orientation towards oneself. Now, when it's a positive orientation, you've got high self-esteem. When it's a negative orientation, it goes without saying that you have low self-esteem. Um, so I think it really goes without saying that when we have a healthy self-esteem, we feel good, we feel positive about ourselves and our lives. So your opinion of yourself is really what self-esteem is. And one of the things I often say is that you cannot change your opinion, you cannot change your life if you have not changed your opinion of yourself. So it is so important to understand what is that opinion of yourself. Self-esteem helps us to deal with the challenges that we may face in life. And whereas a low self-esteem would hinder your ability to deal with adversity. And this is why I said I felt it was actually quite important to have this conversation at the back of the adversity conversation we had. I see some questions, so I will answer those as best as I can. But let me get through what I wanted to talk about today, if you don't mind. Lindiwe has asked, hi Amanda, how did baked in pain affect your relationship with your family? Well, it can only affect a relationship that existed to begin with. So, all right, let me keep going. So self-esteem helps us deal with the challenges we may face in life, whereas a low self-esteem hinders our ability to deal with adversity. Self-esteem is more than just love of self. It's more than just liking yourself. It also means that you believe you deserve a good life. It means you believe you deserve love, you deserve respect, and that you deserve for your opinions to be heard, and that you value your own thoughts and emotions. So it's more than just, oh, I like myself and I think highly of myself. No, it's that deep and deep ingrained belief that you deserve only the best things in life, and that your opinions matter, and that nobody else's opinion is more important than yours, but that yours is just as important. So I think, I mean, I'm kind of going to pause there for a moment in terms of what self-esteem is. So at the back of our minds, let's keep that self-esteem is really the opinion we have of ourselves. It is the opinion we have of ourselves. What causes low self-esteem? Because that's the real problem here is low self-esteem. Of course, there's the opposite end of that scale where people have got an inflated sense of self-esteem. We're not going to talk about that today. I think that one can handle itself. But let's talk about what causes low self-esteem. So what causes people to always put themselves last, to always put themselves at the back, to always believe other people are better than them, to always believe that they don't deserve a good life, to always believe that when things happen to them, it's by luck and not merit, and aka imposter syndrome. So what causes people to have a low sense of self, a low opinion of themselves? It is said that low self-esteem, in fact, generally develops in our childhood. So our self-esteem, our sense of self, develops in our childhood. Our environment contributes to how that sense of self develops. And it contributes by sending us either positive or negative messages throughout our lives. I mean, my story is not a secret. I've written and spoken widely about what kind of messages I received when I was a child. So our environment contributes to our sense of self, or to our opinion of ourselves. And these messages, these either positive or negative messages, they come from parents, from siblings, from teachers, from church leaders, from from any significant other person in our lives. So our sense of self is developed through our environment. And most recently, social media. Social media is contributing towards a positive or negative sense of self, particularly for teenagers or younger children who haven't developed the ability to filter through the noise of life. So, and I want to maybe pause there for a moment. We all talk about how horrendous social media is, but ultimately, as a caregiver, it is your responsibility, it is our responsibility to make sure that we do our best to protect our children from being exposed way too early when they're emotionally not yet developed the ability to withstand some of these positive, some of these negative images of self. And it has become such a contributing factor. And I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on social media, but I think you all know the challenges with that. So it is of great interest to me that what largely stands and has a huge impact on us are the negative messages. So the negative messages impact our self-esteem the most, which means without even, I mean, it's not rocket science, and I've said it before, I'm a big advocate of how we talk to our children. I'm a big advocate of what we allow people to say to us and what we let pass and what we don't let pass. So it goes without saying that we want to minimize negative messages in our lives, be it on when we talk to our children, the children in our care, when we talk to our colleagues, when we talk to anybody. We need to be so cognizant of our words. We need to be so cognizant of what we are saying to them and how it's impacting them. So expectations put on us as children can lead to low self-esteem or an inflated sense of self-esteem. And it really depends on what you are being fed as a child. So if you're constantly being pushed to be competitive, if you're constantly being praised like the God that you are, that's done so well in this and so well in that, and never be told about some of the things that you need to work on, you may develop an inflated sense of self, an inflated self-esteem. Highly competitive environments within the home can breed highly inflated self, or can breed low self-esteem, especially where children do not meet those expectations. So adversity can have a negative effect on self-esteem. And when I talk about adversity, things like your health, maybe you had a physical disability that you were not born with. As a child, maybe you suffer something like that, or you suffer, a loss, or you suffer, maybe your parents separate. Any emotional, health, physical, or even financial adversity can cause a low self-esteem. Imagine a child who's come from nothing. And I mean, I think a lot of us can identify with that. A lot of black kids in South Africa can identify with that, where you've come from an environment, a background of lack, and you are faced with more other adversities. You are faced with health issues, you are faced with emotional issues, you're faced with structural systemic issues that continuously discriminate against you. And so adversity can contribute towards a negative self-esteem. But let me also add that there are people with personalities that are more prone to negative thinking. So negative thinking is the cornerstone of a low self-esteem. But, friends who are bad influence can also cause low self-esteem. So outside of people who are more inclined to be negative, because there are people that's a fact, it's been studied. There are people who are more inclined to be negative in their approach to life, in their thinking. Even that, it's obviously it's a long study that's been done by social psychologists. That can also be contributed to the environment. But also, then you keep people around you who feed you negative script. So friends who are bad influence can also cause low self-esteem. So I always say that careful the company you keep, because it is so important to surround yourself with people that can continuously feed you positive messages, not necessarily to always encourage you, but them feeding themselves positive messages, because then you get to learn that. You get to learn that, oh my gosh, actually, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try that. But if you're constantly with people who are negative, who complain, who whine, it's always blaming other people. It's, any of that negativity does not help your self-esteem, especially if you're still struggling with it. So, um, trauma and abuse can lead to low self-esteem. Because, when you go through trauma and abuse, your sense of self is shattered. Your sense of who you are is brutalized. And I can speak from experience that being told that nobody loves you or nobody wants you, or being part of a dysfunctional upbringing of any kind, people controlling you, is all about eroding your sense of self. It's an erosion of your sense of self. So trauma and abuse can lead to a low sense of self, a low self-esteem. And lack of support from your parents, lack of support or being compared or being criticized all the time can lead to low self-esteem. Anxiety and other mood disorders. That's actually also a tricky one, because it's a question of which one came first, the chicken or the egg. So it's always, do mood disorders cause low self-esteem, or is low self-esteem a contributor to mood disorders? So, I mean, I'm still on the topic of what are some of the causes of low self-esteem. And I think the idea of what beauty is probably one of the biggest contributors in modern history, because with technology and the growth of social media, we have a wider reach. We've got reach into worlds that we never were exposed to before. And we start to question what the idea of beauty is based on what we consume, based on what we are being fed. And I've already kind of mentioned this, particularly in the upcoming groups. There's a lot of pressure around what cool is, what beauty is. There's a lot of pressure around what a success is, or what it should look like. And when you are not achieving what the social media or the technologies is purporting to be a success, people feel less worthy, or they feel their sense of self is short or shattered. So it's so important to be aware of what it is that we are feeding our children, what we are feeding ourselves, because nobody is immune to those things. If you go, I made the bad mistake one time of going into that, on Instagram, you go into that explore button. I didn't know it was an explore button. I didn't know that button for many years. I know very little about some of these buttons. I only know the ones I need to use. So I went in there one time, and I was seeing how many people are flashing all these, this idea of success that is being flashed here by all these different kinds of people. And I'm like, it's interesting. You suddenly think, okay, what is the meaning of success exactly? And so when you look at some of these people, they're just kids, they're just children. So you ask yourself, where does all this stuff come from? But anyway, I'm not going to preach. I'm growing older too, so I'm becoming even more gogorish in my approach to life. So bullying can also cause low self-esteem. Now, bullying, guys, is not only what happens on the school ground. Adults bully each other a lot. Anyone who's in a position of some kind of power and is irresponsible with that power can bully people. They do bully people. I suffered a lot of corporate bullying, and I write about that in my book, Therefore I Rose, and I give people what I believe are the best strategies to deal with being bullied, because it can impact your health, it can impact your state of mind, it can impact your performance, it can impact your productivity. So it's important to deal with it. And so bullying also happens in the homes. So I suffered bullying of all kinds Eventually you're just going to have to stand up for yourself and choose to change the opinion that you have of yourself so that you can start to deal with these external factors. So some people have academic challenges. I mean, right now we're busy dealing with matric results. There are homes where there's huge celebration, and there are homes where there's great devastation because what was expected for children hasn't come true. And children are disappointed in themselves. Parents have put pressure on children. They're disappointed in them. So in some homes, there's a lot of heartache at this point in time, and that can contribute towards a child's low self-esteem. So I want to close that particular part by saying that any kind of adversity can bring about low self-esteem. So it's not the people who rise above adversity are created special. No, everyone is susceptible to low self-esteem, depending on what adversity they go through and what tools they were equipped with in their lives to be able to deal with adversity. So again, there are many causes of low self-esteem. I just picked some that I wanted to talk about today. So what are the signs that you have low self-esteem? What are the signs of low self-esteem? This one, women love it a lot. Joking about yourself in a negative way. Joking about yourself in a negative way is a sign of low self-esteem. And don't think you're funny. No, it's not funny. If you keep criticizing yourself and having a good laugh about yourself in a negative manner, yeah, there's joking, there's laughing at yourself, which is fun because you know yourself. You're so self-assured that whatever you laugh at, I mean, I laugh at myself for, sometimes I've got linen that I'm like, oh, why am I still keeping this? I think I'm able to buy some great linen, or things that you just like, okay, I'm never gonna be that because now I grew up rural kind of thing. That's different. I'm talking about when you take things that are significantly negative for you and things that hurt you and you joke about them. And we like that as women. And we like, I think we at some point we have this, we believe this notion that if you joke about it, you take away the pain of it. But it does, in this particular circumstance, it doesn't work. It just reinforces the negativity in yourself. And in fact, what then it does, it shows the people that you are joking to about yourself. It shows them who you actually are. Or how you treat yourself is more likely. And being angry when people criticize you is a warning sign that you might have low self-esteem. You must be able to take criticism in life. You must be able to appreciate that people have their opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but you don't have to go be angry at everything that people say about you. And sometimes, depending on who's giving you the feedback, there's great opportunity in learning something and changing something that you need to. Negative self-talk is something that, sure, like, wow. It's amazing how many people are so well accomplished, but they'll talk to me and say, Amanda, I feel like such a failure. And then I'm like, okay, let's come up with some facts and talk about what that means. What do you mean you feel like such a failure? Again, and talking themselves to be these worst human beings. When you start looking at what they've done for others, what they continuously do for their communities, you start to realize that this person just has a very low self-esteem. It has nothing to do with what they've achieved or what they haven't achieved. Never asking for what you want is a sure sign of a low self-esteem, because remember, you don't believe you deserve it. You don't believe you deserve the good stuff. You're too afraid to tell people how they should treat you. You're too afraid to say what you want because you don't believe you deserve it. Another sign of low self-esteem. Guys, you don't have to agree or disagree. I'm just sharing with you what I've known, what I've learned, what I've observed, what I've studied, because this was a significant part of my university degree. And in fact, I think the other time I said, I think I'm going to do a master's in my social sciences field. I'm one of those blessed human beings who gets to use what I studied every single day. It may not necessarily be in my direct job or in my primary job, but I use it everywhere else. So these are some of the signs of low self-esteem. Believing others are better than you and being overly critical of yourself is a sign of low self-esteem. When you feel you're just not good enough, when you feel you're just not good enough, ignoring your achievements and focusing on the lack. So ignoring what you've already achieved and keep focusing on what you haven't yet achieved. We know so many of those. We are those people, okay? We know ourselves. Ignoring your achievements and focusing on what you haven't yet achieved is a sign of not valuing yourself. Self-hatred. Self-hatred is a sure sign of low self-esteem. Always blaming and kicking yourself when things go wrong. So people who do not allow themselves and embrace themselves when they make mistakes, because only other people are allowed to make mistakes, not them. Low self-esteem. Thinking you don't deserve a great life and being afraid to fail and avoiding challenges. Thinking you don't deserve a great life, being afraid to fail and avoiding challenges. Believing you are a failure. Believing you're a failure. So many people talk to me about failed businesses as though they are the ones who failed. I'm like, you didn't fail. You just tried something. The outcome wasn't what you desired. You haven't failed as a person. You are still here. You are alive. Get up. Try again. Change something. So we'd like to embrace failure as this is us. And people who have low self-esteem cannot move on from disappointments. They hang on and replay things that they've done, replay the mistakes until it's brutally eating them away. And you can see these people dying in front of you. They're eroding. Their sense of self is eroding because they will never give themselves the same grace that they allow others, because their sense of self is not at the level that it should be. You are not a failure. If you've tried things and they didn't work out, you're not a failure. In fact, I think failure is when you don't even try at all. That's failure to me. When you avoid challenges, that's failure. But none of us are failures. We can rise up anytime. We can change our lives. It's a decision, and that just needs to be followed by action. So thinking you don't deserve a great life and believing you are a failure. Low self-esteem is highly linked to the imposter syndrome. And people who suffer from low self-esteem, much like the imposter syndrome, they believe that their success is not through merit. They believe that it's through luck. It's through, oh, I'm a black woman, so I was given this opportunity. No, it's not, because they think they've worked very hard for it and that it's about time that they got that opportunity. So there's a significant link between the imposter syndrome and low self-esteem. And believing that other people are better than you all the time is a sure sign that you don't value yourself and you don't value your opinions. Sitting in some boardroom where you've got the power and the mandate by virtue of being there, and you don't use that because you are afraid of what you're going to say. Maybe you say something wrong. But what if you say something right? What if you say the one thing that is going to save your organization, or the one thing that's going to move the organization to the next level? Constantly comparing yourself to others is a sure sign of low self-esteem. Somebody asked a question in our previous session, and the question was, is there such a thing as positive comparison? There's no such thing as positive comparison. There is no such thing as positive comparison. Because when you're comparing yourself to somebody, you've already assumed that they are better than you. And there is no need to compare. We are not the same people. We are not the same. We don't come from the same place. We're not influenced by the same things. Our paths are different. How on earth did we get to a place where human beings think comparing themselves to others is the right thing to do? there's no such thing. There is no such thing. You cannot compare yourself to anyone because nobody is like you. Nobody was born for your life. Nobody was born with your circumstances. Nobody was born with your path. It might look like the world has created this blueprint of what success is, but that may not be your blueprint. You that having a house and a husband and children may not be your path. It may not even be what you want. It may be that what you want is to travel the world, going around exploring where the next thing is, either technology wise or I don't know, whatever your desires are. And this idea that we must compare ourselves, peer comparison, no. I just think we need to take out this word compare completely out of our vocabularies. I never compare myself to anyone because I don't think there's anyone better than me. For me, there's no one better than me. There's no one better than me for my own life. So no one can live my life better than I can because it was gifted to me. It's specifically made, created for me, nobody else. People can try and step into my life. It will not be the same life because it's not their life. So why do we constantly think we must look over other people's fences, look over what are you doing in your lane? Take the inspiration you need from people's lives, but don't think you can copy their lives. You can't because it's not your life. That's not what God designed for you. So, yeah, I am preaching a bit this morning. But yeah, maybe it's about time we talk about these things and talk openly about these things. You cannot keep having the same blueprint for your life that other people are using. And then people end up with lives they don't recognize and they wonder why. It's because you're busy going around taking people's things. You don't know how they got those things. You don't know how they got where they are. So stick to your own script. Stick to your own life. Follow where you are being led. Follow where God is sending you. And find what it is that you believe you are here in life for. And it is not the same thing for all of us. It may even look like it's the same thing. It is never the same thing. How we go about it is not the same. I get a lot of people ask me how I've done 1, 2, 3, and they want step-by-step guide to how I've done certain things in my life. And I'm like, I can tell you, but it's not going to help you if your path is different. And sometimes you'll find that people just want to emulate everything you do just so that they can get the success that they believe is the success they deserve. But the truth is that my success and how I've come about life is my definition of success. There are things I don't have that other people consider success. There are things I don't want because I don't believe they're part of success. And my success has got nothing to do with external things. My definition of success has nothing to do with all these things that people can take away from you. Tomorrow you can lose it all. Tomorrow the money can be gone. Tomorrow all these things, material things that we value can be gone. What are you left with? So I think for me it's so important to understand when you're saying this is my idea of success or this is my idea of sex, oh, not of sex, of success. Of success. When you strip down everything, when you strip it all, who is left? What are you about? Who are you? What is your ability to get up and do it again? If everything that the world defines as success is taken away from you. For me, that is my definition of success, is what I've been able to build of my life outside of these shiny things. Because these shiny things are nothing but that shiny things. They enable our life, they enable a wonderful life, in fact. They enable us to change other people's lives. But without them, who am I? I'll still be the same person. I'll still be the person that cares. I'll still be the person that believes I deserve a good life, which means I can rebuild it. I'll still be that person that has fought hard every single time, that fights hard every single day against her own mind that can threaten to sway the direction. My sense of self changed the day I decided to change my opinion of myself. So it was no longer influenced by what people told me or what people said, people's opinions of me. No, my opinion is the only one that matters. My opinion of myself is the only one that matters. And maybe if I have to add other human beings, I'll add my children, I'll add my husband. Okay, cool. No, guys. All right. So I think, it's minimizing yourself to make others feel comfortable is something that we do very well. Um, it's no, shrink yourself. Like, no, 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 don't be too much. So, how many of you would have been told in your life multiple times, I am too much? That I've been told I'm too much. I must tone it down. I've been told I'm a lot. I was told. I say, why must you change? If you are happy with who you are, why must it matter what other people think of you? And it's so important to separate between having the humility to learn the things you don't need to learn, you need to learn, to improve the things you need to improve, and separate that from people trying to reduce you to nothing, and people trying to erode your sense of self because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So it's so important to be aware what the difference is, or to know where the separation is, because it's easy to then fall into the trap of, oh no, I need to improve myself because people say. I no, please, hear people, don't believe them yet. Do your own research of yourself, okay? And then see what do you need to do. But never ever make yourself feel small so that others can thrive. And we've come from cultures that say we must do that. Unfortunately, that doesn't take you anywhere. And let's not confuse that with humility. Let's not confuse that with humility. And people pleasing all the time at your expense. And it's definitely linked to the other point, to the last point I made. Pleasing people at your expense when you know, I don't want to do this, but you carry on and do it. And you grow that resentment. And it's not just resentment against the people, it's resentment against yourself for allowing yourself to do things you don't want to do. So stop pleasing people. It does not take you anywhere. And be clear about what it is that you want to do, and do what's right, not at your expense. Anything that you do that takes away from you is not something you should be doing. Anything that is making you feel small, anyone that is making you feel small, does not belong in your life. Anything that you have to do and you feel bad about it afterwards because you were just trying to please people, please, you have to revisit that. A lot of us come from that. I mean, I'm reading some comments here. A lot of us come from, you're too ambitious, you're too confident. I mean, I've had people say, I mean, when I did the interview with Mpumi, someone said, eh, my confidence makes them feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, wow, you even writing that? Like, you got the audacity. It's my confidence. Why does it bother you? That's why you know, low self-esteem. That kind of self-esteem is lower than low. When people who are going about their lives and are fantastically happy, and you are the one that's like, oh my gosh, your confidence makes me uncomfortable. The other thing that I get a lot of, people say to me, I love how comfortable you are in your own skin. I always find that I never know how to respond to that, because I'm like, what's there to be uncomfortable about in my own skin? I'm like, this skin is godly, darling. Why would I not be comfortable in this skin? And I have worked to fit into the skin. I have worked my life to change my sense of self, my opinion of yourself, so that the skin feels great and comfortable and soft and cuddly. So what's there not to love? But then I realized people are saying that from their perspective because they are not comfortable in their own skin. So yeah, people will tell you you're too ambitious, or you are loud, or you are this. Often those people are the ones who have low self-esteem. So don't you dare stoop down to their level and want to change yourself just so they feel comfortable. I even had a colleague in corporate. After a meeting, we were exco members, exco guys. I'm not talking junior people here. I'm not talking kindergarten, you just graduated, you start. I'm talking grown women in an exco. She comes after me after a meeting, says to me, she really hated how I always sit next to the boss. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. First and foremost, I think you have a problem with the fact that the boss always sits next to me, because that's exactly what happens all the time. But you want to attack me, the boss, I sit next to the boss. And then the other thing she said was, yeah, every time we walk into a room, people always just want to come to you and talk to you, and they gravitate towards you. And I just sit and stand at the corner. I didn't believe this rubbish. I thought, you are kidding me. I was like, and I've heard these things where people are so threatened just by your presence, just by you being born, you are threatened. I'm like, I've come from that. I came from people where I was a child. They tried to destroy me as a child. What kind of light is that, darling? What kind of light is that when God has bestowed it upon you, that so many are threatened by it long before you can even string together a sentence? So don't go around sniffing people's insecurities and take them in and make them yours and paint yourself to be something that you're not. Change your opinion of yourself if you need to suit what you need to be learning, to suit what you need to be growing into. So I've had those. I mean, the last one time I was doing a speaking engagement at a large global corporate based out in Durban. And the young lady came afterwards, after I had finished doing my speaking engagement, my keynote address. She comes to me, dripping in tears, crying. You know when someone cries like, like the pain was just so much. And she says to me, it is amazing to listen and watch and to listen to you and watch you be so larger than life in personality and be comfortable be comfortable with that. Be loud and laugh out loud and be so comfortable with that. And she says all her life she's been told she needs to tone it down. She's too much. She's this. So she feels like there's something wrong with her because she's not like others. I said, well, it's the only reason they're doing that is because they're jealous of what you have. They wish they had what you have. But because they won't say that, they'd rather try and take it away from you. They'd rather kill your spirit. Don't you ever allow that. Imagine if we were all these quiet little people boring in the back. No, I don't mean that. That's just a joke. Not every quiet person is boring. What I'm saying is that we must just be okay to be ourselves. I love diversity. I would get bored if I have to deal with the same person all the time. Even as I am, I come across people who are not as colorful as I am. My husband's personality is not like mine. He's far more quieter, reserved, and it works because we feed off each other's energies. There's times when actually I need that kind of energy. So we mustn't destroy what we bring to the diversity of our lives purely because people are threatened by it. And we should never be raising children to tell them, oh, you talk too much. Oh, hey, sit down. Aren't you tired? Don't you get tired of doing this? That's where it starts. You keep eroding their sense of self because when they try to be themselves and they are all over the place, you're like, no, a girl must not, don't do that, don't do that. And then you wonder why they have low self-esteem today. You can't, and you won't, and you don't hold up boundaries. That's a sure sign of low self-esteem. And you know yourselves. A lot of you struggle with boundaries. You can set them, you can have some fantasy about them, but you struggle to uphold them. Again, linked to the 2 points above. You please people. You want to please people. You minimize yourself. and you don't hold up boundaries, you know people are not good for you, but you're constantly hanging out with them because, oh, you fear for their feelings, oh, you don't want to be alone, or you don't, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is a sure sign of low self-esteem. Even difficulty accepting positive compliments. Difficulty accepting positive compliments is a sign of low self-esteem. You know those people where you're like, oh girl, look at you, you look amazing. And you're like, oh yeah, thanks. I haven't worn this dress in such a long time. Ooh, I paid 50 rands for it at Pep. Why? I didn't ask you that. I just said you look amazing. So why must you feel the need to take away from the positive compliment? Why must you feel the need to explain yourself? Take the compliment and say thank you. Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel good. I woke up, I brought it. Why must it be, oh yeah, I ate. Oh yeah, I did. Oh, thank you, but there's always a thank you, but. And people are just like, oh, all I said was, you look great. I didn't really need all of this other, I didn't even need to know any of this stuff. Anyway, so I think that, I mean, there are many signs of low self-esteem. You, you can, like, this is a topic you can tackle all month. You still wouldn't get through all of them. So I think that if you are recognizing some of these in you, even if it's just remotely, it means you've got some work to do. So I wanna just talk a bit more about what the consequences of low self-esteem are, because it's one thing to say, oh, I have low self-esteem and I don't know what to do with it. And anyway, that's how I am. No, it's not how you are. Let's just be clear. It's not how you are. You can change it. Um, I don't know. I haven't met anyone who says I'm actually happy, not thinking highly of myself. So it's not who you are. So the consequences or the impact of low self-esteem is that your quality of life is reduced. Your quality of life is reduced as you hold yourself back. You hold yourself back from living a fulfilled life. And you hold yourself back because you don't believe you deserve it. You don't believe you deserve it. Think of that promotion. So think how this plays itself out in the workplace. The promotion you never asked for. In your head, you think you could want to be promoted, but you're not going to ask because they'll say no anyway. You don't deserve it. I mean, Julia deserves it because Julia does this. The raise you never asked for. The, 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 the contribution from your organization for you to be better at your job that you never ask for. All the things where you sit back and say, oh, things are happening to me. I'm not getting my bonus. You get a tiny, windy little bonus after working so hard. You don't even have the guts to say, I actually think you need to revisit this because I really did put in a lot. I did way more than I was expected to, blah, 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 blah. And I actually really would like an increase because it's been 2 years, I haven't had an increase. You won't do that because your sense of self and the fact that you deserve these things has not been developed, has not been improved, or has been shattered. So your quality of life is reduced because you really do. People with low self-esteem hold themselves back. I really have seen how the most beautiful souls have low self-esteem, and the idea that I have of them is 10 times what they have of yourself. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. So you will miss or pass great opportunities, be it in your career or on your personal life. Opportunities are going to pass you by. You are going to miss great opportunities because you think other people deserve them, not you. Why not you? Why not you? Why don't you deserve a great life? Why don't you deserve to live in the house of your dreams? Why don't you deserve to drive the car of your dreams? Go on the vacations that you wish for. Support the charities that you wish to support. Just have financial freedom. So your low self-esteem is going to hold you back from improving your life financially, because you are not putting yourself at the forefront of those decisions. You're not asking for what you need. You're not asking for what you deserve, because you think it's by luck that you even got what you got. You know those conversations that, oh yeah, no, you have a job, be thankful. No, 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 no. It's not a favor. You go and work. That you get paid for that. It's not a favor. So if you have got things that you want to achieve, go for them. And don't fear that someone's gonna say no. No has never killed anybody. Okay? Nobody has ever died from I want a raise and they say no. But you've made your intentions clear. And next time they don't give it to you, they know that they are already on a back foot. So unchecked low self-esteem can lead to anxiety. It can lead to depression. And it can lead to chronic feelings of worthlessness. It can lead to chronic feelings of worthlessness. And it can lead to self-destructive decisions or behaviors, because it feels more comfortable there. It feels more comfortable because in your mind you've told yourself that you don't deserve good things anyway, so you might as well keep screwing up your life. And it just doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. And I don't care who may have told you what, you can change your life. I don't care who keeps saying what, you can change your life. You can hold up those boundaries. You can push for the life that you want. You can push for the life that you want. Tolerating abuse. Tolerating abuse is a sign of low self-esteem. I will repeat. Tolerating abuse of any kind, is a sign of abuse to yourself. Tolerating abuse is a sign of low self-esteem. Substance abuse can be a consequence as people seek to numb the pain. When people seek to numb the pain of their own worthlessness, they can end up abusing substances. So there is direct or indirect correlation between substance abuse and low self-esteem. So the consequences and the impact of low self-esteem are dire. They are dire. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. If you have low self-esteem, your life will not ever be what you wish for, what you even dream of, because you are always going to put yourself at the back. So I have found that external factors may contribute to our low self-esteem, but the greatest damage is done by our own belief. So the things that happen to us may do contribute to our low self-esteem. But the greatest damage aren't the things that happen to us. It's what we believe those things are to us. So our own beliefs and how we view the challenges we go through in life is what destroys our self-esteem. Changing your opinion of yourself, it is so critical, because it is everything. You show up as yourself. You go everywhere as yourself. Your church, the charities, your friends, home, the work, you name it. You show up as yourself. So it's not like in one instant you have high self-esteem, in another you have low. No, if you have low self-esteem, chances are throughout your life, you show up as that person that is not confident in showing up for themselves, that does not believe they deserve a great life. We all deserve a great life. It's not some or other. And I can assure you, in South Africa, apartheid might have led us to believe that black people do not deserve a good life. Don't you dare believe nonsense like that. Still till today. Nobody is doing us any favors. We're here because we deserve to be here. and we will fight for what is rightfully ours. We are smart, we work hard, we are it all. So why must we constantly be feeling apologetic? And then, oh no, you get a little grant, you are fine, you eat. You know, there are all these socioeconomic issues that really get me, because they get to me because people have resigned themselves to a life of poverty and struggle and pain purely because they think I'm black, I have to be. No, it's rubbish. We all deserve a great life. We all deserve to live in good neighborhoods. We all deserve to receive the services we need to receive. So we can't sit back and just constantly accept how we're being treated and constantly be made to feel like these charity cases in our own country. So we cannot keep accepting what was shoved down our throats. So it's not just in our childhood, in how we were born, it's also the systemic issues that we have to deal with in South Africa. Nobody has the right to make you feel like, or to treat you like you don't belong, to treat you like they're doing you a favor. Not in this day, not today. And it would be a shame if the people that came before us fought so hard to to give us these opportunities, these platforms where we can just be, forget freedom. We have got the voice. We have the voice. Let's use it. Let's use it. Nobody has to validate our voice. We have it. It was validated by virtue of being born. By virtue of being created, we have a voice. So use your voice. Don't go around pandering to little people's thoughts about what you deserve and what you don't deserve. So, how we view our challenges in life is a significant contributor to improving our self-esteem. I can tell you that the other impact, a significant impact, is that practically, let me tell you practically, you may never realize your dreams. You may never realize your goals if you carry on this path where you think you don't deserve good things. Self-esteem robs you of a great life. It robs you of your dreams. Low self-esteem robs you of your dreams. So low self-esteem will rob you of everything you deserve. So it is imperative that you make this a priority in your life to work on. You have got to improve your self-esteem, because if your sense of self is not high, if your sense of self is low, if what you believe, if you believe you deserve scraps and crumbs, you're never going to reach the life you want, and you're always going to be looking at other people wondering how they've done it. You start suspecting people of witchcraft. You start suspecting people of corruption. Because you're like, how did they do it when I can't do it? No, it's yourself. You are standing in your own way. So many of you, so many of us stand in our own way. The biggest achievement in my life, at the top of the list, is the fact that I never stand in my way. In fact, I look at myself and I'm like, girl, come on, because there's nothing I have that I didn't work for. So why would I feel sorry for it? If I have a job, if I have an opportunity, if I have a position of power, why must I feel like I don't belong there? Why must I let all these other people have their voice, say whatever they want to say? Half the time you know this, half the time you have such a brilliant thing that you want to say, but you're so afraid to say it because, they did me a favor. They just needed a black person here. No, you cannot keep perpetuating this nonsense. Speak. Use your voice. Otherwise, lose it. Get out of the way. If you're not going to own your voice, somebody else needs that spot. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's go. So at work, you may never speak up or value your opinion, meaning no one will actually ever notice you. And what does that mean? It means less recognition. It means less reward. So if what I've said is not practical enough for you, financially, you are not going to succeed. I don't think you will be fulfilled career-wise either if you keep holding yourself back. So it's imperative that you work on your self-esteem. So how do we improve self-esteem? So now that I've said all of this and I've preached, I I don't think I can get any more animated about this because that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. So, how to improve self-esteem? First of all, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I want you to know that you will not always feel like that. It breaks my heart when I watch people I care about, um, you know, whose self-esteem is so low. But I want you to know you will not always feel like that. And if you have no one around you to tell you that or give you a hug, I'm giving it to you, okay? You can improve your opinion of yourself. You're not doomed to live with how you feel about yourself right now. You're not doomed. But with everything in life, it starts with a decision to change. It starts with a decision to change. And it starts with that decision and then followed through by action. And guys, it's not easy to be successful. It's not easy to rise above all these things. It's not easy. That's why not many get to do it. But it can be done. You must choose that you are that person that's going to dig deep and keep going because you deserve it. And you deserve a good life. You deserve a dignified life. Why not? Why not you? Why do you think God is that God that just decides, this one, I don't want this one to have a good life? No. At least the God I believe in is not like that. You deserve a great life. You deserve love, not just from yourself. You deserve love from those around you. You deserve to flourish. You deserve to flourish, not just live. You don't deserve to just be a robot going through life and things happening to you. No, you deserve to own your life. You deserve to go after it. You deserve to go after every single one of your goals. Every single one of your dreams is valid. It matters. Every single one of your dreams, they're valid. They matter. You must believe that there's a spot for you. There's a spot for you, and that spot is reserved only for you, where things will get better. You must believe that. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You must believe and be determined to get to a better place. You must be driven to get to a better place. It's not going to happen by itself. And I guess that's the bad news of today. It's not going to happen by itself. You have to do something. So deliberately start. So this is my third point. Deliberately start to focus on the things that you are good at. So deliberately start to focus on the things that you are good at. And I'm going to fly through these before we run out of time. Deliberately start to focus on the things you are good at. Write them down. Write them down. So improving your self-esteem, I said the first point was really about the fact that with everything in life starts with a decision to change and follow through. Number two, you deserve a great life. You deserve love, not just from yourself, but from others. You deserve to flourish. You must believe. You must believe there is a spot reserved for you where things will get better. Number three, deliberately start to focus on the things that you are good at. Write them down. Force yourself to write them down because it will not come naturally for you if you have low self-esteem. So force yourself at first to do this. And the more you force yourself, the more it becomes second nature. The more you start to believe, you cannot believe that you've achieved much if you do not sit and reflect on where you have come from. Reflect on where you have come from. Write it down. There is something powerful about connecting with a piece of paper and putting your thoughts and where you've come from. Ask a trusted friend to narrate those things to you. If you struggle to write the things you are good at, ask somebody you trust to tell you about those things. And you can record them or you can sit and write or record them. Please sit quietly and listen. Resist the urge to respond because people with low self-esteem are always going to feel embarrassed when people tell them about the things that they're good at. It's embarrassing for them to hear that they're good at something because internally they know they don't believe it. So sit and be quiet. And anyone who's trying to help you with this exercise, they need to hold you accountable to that. Do not respond. If someone is trying to talk to you about how great you are, your strengths, the things you've done, listen. As uncomfortable as it is, listen. Fourth one, start to celebrate every little achievement. Every little achievement. The fact that you got out of bed is a big achievement. Celebrate that. The fact that you got up from your couch and went for a 30-minute walk, celebrate that. The fact that you are committed to a job, celebrate that. The fact that you are doing everything you can to break down these structural adversities, to break down generational curses, celebrate that. The fact that you did what you sought to do, celebrate that. The fact that you are still here and you are pushing, you are not giving up, celebrate that. Those are not little, those are huge, because many people don't get to do that. Many people don't get to do that. Practice saying well done. So start celebrating every achievement and say well done. Say it to yourself. Look at yourself on the mirror and say well done. And that's it. You don't have to then say, but you should have, but what took you so long? But. Just leave it at well done, girl. Yes? Well done, boy. And move on. Okay? Fifth one, keep things in context. Keep things in context and deal one thing at a time. If you made a mistake, appreciate that you even tried. Appreciate that you even tried. Don't then add other negative talk like you fool, you always do this, oh, how dare you. So keep things in context. When you have low self-esteem, it's easy to make one mistake here and then spread the negativity to all over your life. You only made one mistake there and suddenly you think you're a horrible mother, you are a horrible father, oh, how dare you, you so bad with money, you're this. Keep it in context. Deal what you are dealing with and deal with the emotions surrounding that. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Keep things in context. Number 6, challenge your perspective. Challenge your perspective, because it's easy to drown in one perspective and think things are like this. Challenge it. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself the questions. Don't just accept that things are like this. I am who I am. Oh, I was born into this. Oh, things are always going to be like this. No. Some of us come from shacks, come from abuse, come from trauma, you name it, we come from it. But those were not cards we chose. Those are not cards we chose. But we had to challenge that perspective that says, once abused, always abused. If you were born into poverty, you'll always be poor. If this, I had to challenge that perspective every single day of my life and say, no, I don't think so. I don't believe that God created me for that. But I didn't just challenge it. I went ahead and changed it by the things I did, by the opinion I formed of myself. The opinion I formed of myself was I deserve a great life. And I'm going to work for it. Nobody's going to hand it to me. I'm going to work for it. And I went about that, doing that. So challenge your perspective. 7, the biggest trait of successfully resilient people is distinguishing between what they can and can't control. I can assure you, things don't always go my way. But the things I can't control, why on earth do I want to waste my energy on that? Why do I want to go around taking all of the negativity of the world with things about things I can't control? So focus on what you can change. Focus on what you can change. Don't go around being, not everything that's trending deserves your attention. Please, not everything that's trending deserves your attention. You need that energy to rebuild yourself, your sense of self. So do away with noise. Do away with noise. And focus on what you can change. And largely, that's you. Only you can change yourself. You can't change anything else in life. The things you do, you put your effort into them. The outcome isn't always what's up to you. So focus on what you can change. The 8th one, if you obsess about perfection, that's okay. Just define what it is for yourself. For yourself, not according to other people's blueprint. So what is your idea of perfection? Let's assume you obsess over perfection, which is, by the way, something people with low self-esteem do tend to suffer from. your perfection won't look the same to others. So that edge, that it resists the edge to compare yourself to others. And once you have mastered this move, so once you've mastered what your idea of perfection is, you have to allow yourself to move towards excellence rather than perfection. I'll tell you how I live my life through excellence. I excel. What does that mean? It means I give it everything I can. Whatever I touch as though I'm not going to have another opportunity. What the outcome is, that's no longer up to me. I can only do my best. My best is good enough. My best I will never question because I know it's good enough and I know I give it. So when you seek to control the outcome, that's starting to look for perfection. And you'll never get it because you can't control the outcome all the time. In fact, you can't control the outcome. You just hope that the decisions you've made yield the desired outcome, but you can't control the outcome. So once you've defined what your perfection looks like, let go of the need to control everything and know that your best is good enough. Your best is good enough. And only you know if you've given your best. Only you know. No one can tell you that. So give up the desire to control the outcome and don't nitpick. Release the small stuff. Don't nitpick. Guys, there's everything to be upset about in life. Everything. How your partner sneezed, how they laughed, what's that sound you make when you eat, how your child spoke to you. There's always something to be upset about. But when you start learning that you need to preserve your energy and preserve your peace for the things that really matter, you stop nitpicking the small stuff. So leave the small stuff alone. And some things are not worth even like a second look, okay? They're not worth a second look. My ninth point, focus on doing things you enjoy. Focus on doing things that you enjoy. And there's no bigger mood booster. I mean, and that's a mood booster for days, okay? I love dancing. I love cooking. That's what I do almost all the days. And I can assure you, I have very few bad days. And even when I have something upsetting happens, I know how to rechannel that energy because if I just do the things I enjoy, I don't have to carry a long face around. You know, a lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, where do you get your energy from? That's another strange question. I'm like, where else do I get it from? Like, where do people get energy from? Is there somewhere you go to buy energy? The things that I enjoy are the things that I do most of. I don't do things I don't enjoy. That's the beauty of my life. If I don't enjoy it, I won't do it. So you'll never see me dragging myself around or my life is like, oh, such a drag. No. Do I have challenges? Yes, I do. But my perception of my life and the challenges I come across is on another level. For me, challenges, I don't see them as these things that are here to break me. I'm like, okay, bring it. It's not like I haven't seen many of these before. All right. So focus on doing things you enjoy, and that's a mood booster for days. 10th, get physical. I said this when we were talking about adversity last week. Get physical, get off the couch, exercise, go for a walk, pick up a hobby, do something, crochet, knit, whatever. Just find something that you enjoy because these are the things that start to, you, the more you enjoy something, the great you are at it or the better you become. And and even if you're not good at it, if you're enjoying it, that's enough of a mood booster. That's enough to think, wow, actually, life is worth living because it's of these little things that I'm enjoying. I don't care if someone thinks I can or can't dance. It never even occurs to me that I can't dance because that's not even the point of what I do. The point of what I do is what I enjoy doing. And I do it here at home all the time. The fact that I sometimes post that on Instagram is so that I want to remind these other women who think that they can't be themselves and be taken seriously. That if you're dancing, then no one's going to take you seriously. You can't. If you're a successful woman, you have to be like this. You have to be this. I just like let's flip the script on all these societal expectations of what women and mothers should be. So Do what you want to do. Even if people say you're not good at it, it doesn't matter. Their opinion doesn't matter, remember? Their opinion doesn't count. So do what makes you happy and activate your happy hormones. Every day, make it a point that you do something that activates your happy hormones, because that sure does keep the doctor away, I can assure you. 11th, helping others brings a different perspective. So take up a good cause, volunteer, or just extend a helping hand. It's easy to be so self consumed and so absorbed in the misery of your life that you forget that the moment you open yourself up and you actually invite the right kind of energy into your life, you actually stand a better chance of improving what you think of yourself. And sometimes just changing your perspective, just going to help somebody that's struggling with something, takes away the focus from your own misery. And it doesn't make the misery go away, but I think it gives you a different perspective. It might even ignite something in you that you didn't have before. So do something for others if you really don't feel great about yourself. Try and kickstart your own love by doing something for others. 12, watch the company you keep. I've already said this. Watch the company you keep. You cannot expect to find a solution where you picked up the problem to begin with. You cannot expect to find a solution where you picked up the problem to begin with. So you can't keep going back to the same things that don't bring you joy, the same things that erode your self-esteem, and think that no, actually you will improve just by keep going back. It goes back to what I said about upholding boundaries. Stay away from people who seek to drown or drag your spirit. Stay away from people who seek to drown or drag your spirit. And if you keep going back to those people, ask yourself about your opinion of yourself and what you deserve. Remember what I said. If you constantly take abuse of any kind, it's a sure sign that you don't value yourself. 13, forgive yourself. Heal from the pain. Heal from the pain. Embrace yourself. Embrace yourself. And if your question is how do I do that, please go and get my book, Therefore I Rose, from amandadambuza.com if you are in SA, and amazon.com outside, overseas markets. Better still, I did a mentorship session here on Vastly Sage talking about inner work. I spent a lot of time on it. Go and do it. Go and refresh yourself there. Forgive yourself. And forgive yourself for the things you believed. Forgive yourself for the things you've done. Forgive yourself for the things that you believed. Let go of that. Embrace who you are. Embrace who you are now and where you're trying to go with your life, and work towards that. And be so possessive of your energy, because your energy is what really propels you forward. You have got to seek peace. And if people around you, things around you, the things you do, and if you are a hindrance to your own peace, you need to understand that you have a lot of work to do. But like I said, you won't always feel that way. It can be done. It can be done. It's been done. It's proven time and again. I'm living proof that it can be done. So I don't talk about things I don't know. 14, please do not stop looking after yourself. Please do not stop looking after yourself. Body image issues can cause or trigger even deeper health issues. Eat well, look good, stay healthy. I said it last in our last conversation about adversity. Just exercising doesn't always have anything to do with physical, only with physical. It's about sharpening your mind. And the more you activate those hormones, the more you get better at what you believe or what you think of yourself. Now think about it this way. If you've set yourself a goal of walking for 30 minutes every single day, and you achieve that goal, you know how great you feel at the end of the day. You've achieved something, and that is something to celebrate. So you don't want body issues, and people with low self-esteem often have body issues, body image issues. And again, those can be influenced by whatever. You know, we've come from cultures where, you know, one moment you are too thin, the next moment you are too big, the next, so you're not sure, like, okay, what exactly do you want from me? So it it's easy for us to come to grow up with these body image issues, because we've come from places that always nitpick on you. They always nitpick on what you are, what you're not, and what you should be. And so keep those in check. I have said it before. If you do not like something about yourself, if you do not like something about yourself, change it. Change it, because the change is within your hands. You have the ability to change. 15, accept that not all of us have the same lives or paths. Doesn't make others better than you. We are all created unique and equal. So let that be the foundation of your life. Nobody's better than you. Nobody's better than you. They might have more money than you. Does it make them better than you? I don't think so. So don't be clear about what your boundaries are. What is your idea of success, and what is your idea of health? What is your idea of wellness? Don't fall for what other people say it must be or it should be. 16, practice projecting yourself as a person whose opinion matters. So role play with yourself. Take a mirror, preferably a big one, and role play with yourself. So if you were not afraid, what would you sound like in a conversation? If there was something you needed to say, what would you sound like? So just role play. Act like you are just acting. It's not you. The more you enjoy that role play, the more you should start practicing that in real life. It's one of those conversations we talk about when you practice and practice until something becomes you. So imagine if you are not afraid. Imagine if none of this world existed in your head where you think you're not good enough. Imagine what you would look like. And start fantasizing more about that. Role play. 17, show others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. How you treat yourself gives others the permission to treat you that same way. If you shrink and minimize yourself and feel you don't deserve things, people will treat you that way. So you are 100% in control and in charge of how people treat you. And if you don't like how people treat you, you have boundaries. They're there for a reason. Deal with that. Don't let it fester. 18, you don't have to accept every criticism. Sometimes people are just wrong. Sometimes people are just wrong. Sometimes people are just wrong. Agree to disagree and move on. It is not the sum of you. If somebody criticizes you, it's not like suddenly your whole world has fallen apart. No, take what you believe could be true and reflect on that. And if someone says something that's critical of you, if you don't know how to react to those things, take a moment and say, let me think about that. Let me reflect on that. Just take what they say, but don't believe it. Go and sanitize it first. Check what you believe you connect with. Otherwise, people are going to make you feel like you are the worst human being purely because they feel like they're the worst human beings. So when people criticize you, they're often criticizing you from their point of view and their perspective and how they are often feeling. So you don't have to accept every criticism. And please just agree to disagree with some people. I'll be like, you don't have to like me. I would hate to be everyone's cup of tea. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, no. I believe so highly of myself. I don't belong in every cup of tea, darling. I don't belong in every teapot. So that's okay. If you feel like I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's an honor. Because I have no interest in being everyone's cup of tea. No. 19, know when to move right along. Know when to move right along. Replaying upsetting things doesn't help you. Being with people who don't value you doesn't help you. Move on. People with low self-esteem, they will hang on to a dog that keeps biting them every single day because, oh, who am I without this dog? Please, you deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. So move on. 20, build and protect your boundaries. Build and protect your boundaries. This As simple as it sounds, it prevents negative spirals. If you don't have boundaries, you will keep going round in circles. You're never going to feel better about yourself. Do not overcommit. Do not overcommit. In fact, if you find yourself, if you find you are that person that cannot say no, if someone is asking you to do something, or you even have the remote inclination to want to offer to do something, take a moment and think about it. Just say, let me think about it. Don't be under pressure to immediately respond. So think about it. Take the time. Do not overcommit. You will feel angry and resentful when you compromise yourself. There is no greater injustice in life than compromising yourself. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Think about it. When somebody says something, think about it and think rationally. Question your emotions. That's the one thing a lot of us don't do. We don't question our emotions, especially things like fear. You have to ask yourself, is, is this fear genuine fear or unfounded? And how you do that is to use facts. Think about it. If you fear you're going to fail, how many times have you failed when you've done the same thing? So, and if you fear you're not going to be good at your job, or you've got promoted and you now fear you don't belong there, you're not going to be good at your job, how did you get to that promotion to begin with? So check your emotions, because half of these things that we feel, it's just our minds lying to ourselves. Sometimes it's those scripts that you were fed in your childhood, that those positive or negative messages. So check every single thing that you are feeling. Check every single thing that you're feeling. And don't just give into it because, oh, it's a feeling, then I must give into it. No. Emotion, I must give into it. No. Check it and question it. Start having conversations with your emotions and name them. Oh, you are anger. I call them demons because they come in different shapes and forms. I can tell when the one demon is gonna come. I can preempt some of them. So anyway, that's my last point on that. But to close this, I want to say that my self-esteem, which is quite high, in case you don't know, my self-esteem comes from having reconciled everything about myself. I have reconciled where I have come from. I have reconciled what I'm great at. I have reconciled what matters to me. I have reconciled everything about me. I've reconciled where I've come from, which was probably the hardest part of my journey, is reconciling that I've come from that place, but I'm not staying there. I'm going there. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to never go back there. So I reconciled who I am. I reconciled how I got to be who I am. I've reconciled all of those things. So my self-esteem will never be impacted by minuscule opinions of mice. It will never be impacted by anybody or anything under the sun. And my reconciliation of myself was between me and my God. God wouldn't have created me to be on this earth only to feed off crumbs, only to kiss people's feet. God would never have created me to beg another human being just to have some dignity in my life. But it doesn't mean my reality or my circumstances as a child pointed to that reality or pointed to that belief. I had to build that up myself. So you need to get to a point where things in life get to a point where it's just water over a duck's back, because you can't control what people say, what people think, what their opinions are, but you can control yourself. And the only opinion that matters of me, is my opinion. So my opinion, my self-esteem is grounded in the belief and the fact that I am enough. In fact, honey, I am more than enough. I got the spice on top of the enough. I am more than enough. And not just for me, not just for others, for me, not just for me, but for others, I am enough. If you come here and you think this is not enough, something is wrong with you. Keep moving. The ones who choose me and I, them, get the most enough version of myself. Because they don't come and say, Amanda, we want you, but tone down this. My husband has never said to me, oh, babe, you're too much. Or, hey, baby, shh. Never, never. All right? So you must choose people that that are happy with who you are and who you are becoming, because we are constantly evolving as people. You must allow yourself the space to grow. You cannot stay in the same place, and you want to feel good about yourself. But it doesn't mean I just like bumped into my husband. Where is he? Okay. Doesn't mean I bumped into him. I had to go through experiences where people were trying to change me. People were trying, why do you have short hair as a girl? You must plait. Oh, why do you wear shorts, wear long dresses? And you are caught in this trance because you just can't believe that this is happening. And so so sometimes you have to go through life's experiences to get to understanding who you actually are, what you like and what you don't like. You won't be able to get there if you don't allow yourself to go through these experiences. So the ones who choose me and I them get the most enough version of me. I am whole as I am. I didn't need to be made whole by other people. Those people just add to what already exists. And I'm able to give them the best of me. And I can't think of a better gift than that. So they add to my wholesomeness. I never went around looking for people to make me whole. Nothing can ever make me whole but myself. So I hope that you choose and you find in your life people that add to your completeness. No one can complete you. If you're looking for people to complete you, you are going to remain empty and void for the rest of their lives, because half the time you are looking for this from people who can't even make themselves whole. We constantly look for things from people who can't give them to us. People who can't give them to us. So I hope you find and choose people that add to your completeness, not to complete you. And I just think that kind of dependency leaves you really vulnerable. So love and validate yourself. That is that is my closing point. Love and validate yourself. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your comments. I am pretty sure there's some questions that I can answer. But I'm probably going to try and do that after the session when I'm done. But our meal was done a long time ago, so the only thing I need to add now is just the egg. So remember, you add the egg in the middle, and then you just mix until it's well cooked, and season and serve. So that's it. I think somebody had a comment earlier about let's talk about narcissism. Um, I'm not sure what was the context. Was it in context of self-esteem or not? But come back with the question next week. There was no question. It was just let's talk about narcissism. So come back with the question next week, and I'll try and answer that. If there's a question that was burning and I didn't get to answer, I hope that you come back with it next week. So I'll try and make more time for questions. So I have to get on now with my lunch preps and feed my family. So thank you so much. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate the feedback. I'll read all these when I'm done with the session. When I'm sitting down, I'll read all of it, and I really hope that of all the things you can take away the fact that you may have low self-esteem, but you won't always feel that way if you just make some decisions and do some things deliberately every day. Do some things until you start feeling better, until you start improving your self-esteem, and you will know it. It's not a you can measure when self-esteem improves. You can feel it. You can and every single thing I say every day is about how you can master yourself, how you can master yourself. because ultimately we can't control the world. We can't control how the world sees us, but we can control how we see ourselves, and we can control how we show up for ourselves. So thank you very much for to everybody. Lerato says our family is growing, guys, every week. Thank you. Landy says, I love this. Joined after church, so we'll catch up as I continue cooking. Thank you. Now, I had to also just be disciplined about not doing the session on different platforms, because then, you keep perpetuating a situation where people will rather go elsewhere. So, like I said the last time, I'm building this. This is where my focus is going to be. So, thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you are new to this channel, please do subscribe. It's free, as you know. And and do turn on your notifications so that you know when I come live. So we do this again next week, Sunday. Let me just check, because my birthday is coming up soon and I'm away, so I just need to let you know. But I will still probably do something and post it. I just won't be live. So next week I won't be able to do this session because I'll be in Botswana for the retreat. I'm doing a retreat in Botswana. But this week I'm fine. So 29th, I see you here. The 30th. Yeah, 30th. And then the 6th, I won't be able to because I'll be in Botswana for the retreat. And that week is my birthday. So you can all wish me happy birthday then. The 10th is my birthday. And the 13th, I won't be able to do the session, but I'll upload a session. So I just won't be live, but I'll upload a session. And then there I can also answer your questions. So please don't feel like I won't pay attention to your questions. I will. I probably will be recovering from wine flu after my birthday, but I'll do my best. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. I hope that I was able to help out. I don't see any more questions, and the ones that were asked earlier, I'll just go through them later and try and respond. And you deserve a good life, and I hope you know that. I hope you never give up on yourself, because once you give up on yourself, your life is done. But you can't die before you die, Gotta live, gotta push on with it. And I get highly animated about this particular topic because it really breaks my heart when other people minimize themselves, thinking they don't deserve the life God created for them. So lots of love. I hope that this week is amazing for you. And if anything, please just keep trying. Just keep pushing on. Okay. Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.